Hello everybody and welcome to the return of the White PC build, this time with liquid cooling Hardline Edition. We have our very own Dave from Alpha Cool.
Hello.
James from Geekawatt. I've never actually done a hardline build before. I've done a first soft tubing one, which actually went quite well. You can find that video in the top right hand corner. So this is the computer that we built before. It turned out pretty well actually. There was a couple of areas I think we could improve on. Again, that video is in the top right hand corner of your screen if you want to see how we painted and went through and made this basically like the ultimate white computer. But I'm interested in how we can actually upgrade this and not only give better aesthetics, but better cooling and better performance. So what have you got for us today, Dave?
Main things you have to cool, GPU and CPU. So we have CPU cooler, this is our XPX Edge, our new one. Going on to the GPU block, again, really important to keep the temperatures down when you're gaming, editing, anything else. So we've got a nice clear GPU block with its full copper, nickel plated copper, and then obviously the plexi to get that RGB shining through.
And we can put white fluid through it, right? So it's sort of, this whole thing will appear white.
Yeah, on the front, all the channels where the fluid will flow will all be white, really nice.
And then what are these crazy little things, especially this one?
Oh, so these are all our, well, some of our reservoirs. We've got loads of reservoirs. I thought I'd bring a range to see what you prefer.
It's turning into a sales pitch, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
exactly, this is how it works. The helix is really nice, but with the white fluid, I don't think we'll see the actual helix inside. So I thought, I'll bring it, see if you like it or not. But then we've got these nice little chrome metal ones with the plastic, and these are solid. Like you could kill a yak with one of these, I'm sure.
Something I've genuinely always wondered is, obviously, two different sizes for different cases. Is there actually an advantage to having a longer tube?
No, there's no advantage really.
Immaturity.
Sorry. You said it so casually. Sorry, carry on.
Really, when your loop's up and running and when you're gaming, the temperatures of the fluid will all equalise, and that'll just be the temperature. The only reason you have a reservoir is to feed the pump. So you gravity feed the pump, so the pump doesn't run dry. And then after that, the reservoir's not really needed.
In terms of radiators, we are of course sticking with the Alpha Cool theme once again. One thing that's really quite cool about these is the actual different in and out port configurations. So this one's got the in and out on the same end, and this one has it on different ends. It's going to give us some more options in terms of less tubing runs and that kind of thing.
But am I right in thinking that if you do order the wrong size, it is annoying, but you just return it and get a different one?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. Most of the stores that we ship to, you can easily return them. Most of them have like a 14-day grace period, some of them 30 days, so just ship them back, get new ones, no problem.
And the only other thing to mention before we begin is that Team Group have been very lovely and have actually shipped us out a PCIe NVMe SSD for this rig, as before we were using something, we didn't really think about it really, it was a bit of an oversight, slow SATA one. This is going to be super fast and actually representative of a powerful PC. Now this video actually isn't sponsored. Maybe I didn't get a sponsor spot for this one, boo-hoo. But I would love to take this opportunity to shout out my Instagram and Twitter. So if you want to see exactly how these videos get made, maybe help me out with some PC builds, choose some color schemes, or just show me exactly what it is I'm doing wrong, it's at PCcentric on Twitter and Instagram, links are down below. Right, let's take this baby apart then, which is quite sad. We had it so pristine from last time. But realistically, we don't need to worry about taking the motherboard out or anything. We should be able to just put the block straight on. We just need to do a teardown and make sure that the GPU is actually fully fitted with the GPU block, and obviously we get all the radiators and stuff in place. Is there an order that you would recommend doing it in?
No real order, to be honest. As long as you get the GPU out, get the CPU out, and then get the blocks on, it doesn't really matter. Same with the order of the loop. One of the things people fret about is, oh, but the CPU will heat up the GPU if I've got, the liquid going from one to the other. It doesn't.
Doesn't matter?
Doesn't matter. The fluidal temperatures will equalise as the system's on. The fluid moves fast enough to take the heat away, but it's also fast enough not to take it instantly away. The only thing you have to remember, always have a reservoir in front of a pump, because that's the only way that the pump gets water when you're filling it up. After that, you can do whatever you like.
Okay.
So inside the radiators, what you'll have is like flux from the manufacturing process. So you can have some dirt and some flux in there. And what most people have, when they say that the fluid's gone a different colour, like it's gone greeny or it's gone yellow or something like that, 99% of the time it's because they haven't flushed the radiators or the blocks out properly. And what happens, the copper in the radiator mixes with the other materials. Copper goes green when it oxidises, so your fluid in the loop changes colour.
Fitting the GPU block, I've actually realised that it is a bit easier with a third-party card, like this Strix one, and the reason for that is all down to the screws it uses. The other thing that actually makes this a little bit easier than last time is because we're not taking the cooler apart, we're just taking the cooler off, so it is less screws.
Yeah.
I guess just unscrew everything you can find, and then you can't go wrong.
Yeah, really not many screws at all actually. That should now just come off like that. We need to obviously disconnect the fan cable, and then we have our raw GPU. Just a little bit more of the PCB, I think, comes off from inside, but otherwise that is ready to actually fit the new GPU block. I love this bit because you think how much money you spend on a graphics card, and it's essentially just this. I mean, yes, you get a cooler on top of it, but this is where the money is. You buy an RTX 2080 Ti, and that is essentially what it looks like. This tiny, thin bit of PCB with that chip on it. It's crazy, but that is the bit that does all of your games, really. All of those calculations, all of those processes is all done from the GPU that actually sits on the card like that. It's pretty cool.
So status update from this side of the room while Marcus has been faffing about trying to find the last screw.
Oi!
We've gone for two 360mm radiators. We're going to go one in the top and one at the front. We've taken out the rear exhaust fan from Corsair because we're one fan short, so we'll add that in when I take this system home. Might not give it back. We've got 3 Alala 120 fans on each of the radiators, which fits in nicely with the black and white theme. And then all we need to do is start planning out some of our tubing runs, which hopefully Dave is going to be
It's really fun actually watching him struggle. And my other favourite thing that you do is when he says theme, he goes, theme.
I don't say that high. My voice is not that
Comments
high
down
pitched.
below.
Nicely with the black and white theme.
So this bit's a little bit different to what I've done before, because I used Corsair's IQ system before, and that was literally take it out of the box, put it on, screw it in, and it's done.
Yeah.
This is slightly more advanced, but doesn't really sound that much more advanced.
No,
What are we doing?
It's not really advanced, as you do have to do a little bit more faffing around, but it's really, really simple. All you've got is some thermal pads,
Okay.
and these transfers the heat from the memory to the copper of the water block.
Yeah.
So similar to thermal paste, but it's just a little bit less messy.
Okay, I see. And then thermal paste on the GPU,
Yeah.
into the block, into the fluid, out the case. You've shown me the manual already, so it goes through and it shows you where you need to place all the different pads
Yeah.
and things. So this now just goes on like this, is that correct?
Yeah, that's right, yeah. So just line the holes up as best as you can. And then when you put the screws through, they'll locate themselves.
Okay, that looks about right, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That is the last one, and we now can show our card off.
I love that. I love you can see the PCB. It's just so good.
I mean, once we get that white fluid around there as well, that's going to look really, really good. Like the Holy Grail, look, hold it out. I want to see what's going on over here, because they've been working on this while I've been doing the graphics card. It's looking good to me, and I'm, again, really liking the black and white theme. I think it's working nicely. What have we learned? Because it looks like you've got 2 360s in there.
Yeah, so I've put 2 360s in at the moment. We have fouled the back 120mm fan.
So you're not going to be able to fit one in there, are you?
No.
We've now got the CPU block ready. This is pretty much just like putting on any AIO, really, really, really simple stuff. Just put the screws in, put the back plate on, and it should now go in. That's about, oh, that is a lot. That is a lot.
That is a lot. I'm thinking, when's he going to stop?
That is too much.
It's fine. It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine.
I'll take some out now.
Let's let someone in the comments get triggered. So I've taken the reins and I'm now going to go ahead and install the graphics card. Got some fingerprints on the back plate, but we can deal with that later. We may find that we need to take this out when running some of our hardline tubing a little bit later, but it won't hurt to pop it in at least just for now.
What are you doing here?
Just bear with me here, it's going to go well.
I don't even understand what is it that you're trying to do.
I'm trying to thread the cable around the back. Oh, there we go. See, thanks Dave. 2-man job.
1.5.
Oh, my half am I? Graphics card cables. Hang on, I'll get in the swing of it. Give me a minute.
Dave is actually working. Dave is actually working in there. Oh, see, that would have been cool.
Hang on, try again.
I thought that was coming from me.
I give up.
Edge.
I give up. Dave has very kindly put in a bit of frosted tubing for us with some nice fittings from our GPU block to our CPU block. The radiators are now both in their final positions. We've had a bit of an orientation switch about. We've also got our reservoir here mounted to one of the radiator inlets, and some of the cables are managed. What we've now got to do is connect up the two radiators to our loop properly, and then hopefully fill it up with some Mayhem's fluid that is over here and has arrived. And this is some pastel white fluid, so we've gone for the frosted tubes as opposed to sort of like opaque tubes. And it was a similar story when we looked at the reservoir earlier as well. That stuff should look really good.
So then we'll go reservoir into the pump so that the pump gets fluid.
Yeah.
Then probably up to the GPU. The GPU and the CPU are in parallel, so the fluid will actually go in here at the same time going up to the CPU, and then the fluid will come down here and at the same time come out here.
So we're going to mount the pump under our power supply shield where our hard drive cage once lay. It's one of the trade-offs of having a slightly smaller chassis. You are going to lose 3.5 inch drive mounting, but apart from that, it's going to work pretty well and be nice and hidden as well.
As long as it's not upside down, so it can go, facing forwards, it can go facing up. As long as it's not upside down so that the fluid isn't touching the pump, you're fine. At home, I ripped the bottoms off of our fittings boxes, and you get this horrible bit of foam, and I use bits of that and put it down so it stops any vibrations.
Did you know that Edam is the only cheese that is made backwards?
That's...
This is disappointment in you. I thought you were the intelligent one, and we had him to laugh at.
Hang on a second, right?
So what's the difference between a hard tube system and a soft tube system? It's a lot harder.
It's a lot more difficult and technically skilled.
Yeah. The difference is obviously the tubing we use for hard tube is solid, and this has to be bent if you want bends in it. If not, you have to either use fittings, and also you cut it using a saw, which then means you have to clean the edges and chamfer them using a chamfer tool. And all this does is you do that, and that just makes it so when you push it into a hard tube fitting, the edge of the tube is nice and rounded, and it won't damage any O-rings.
So what's an O-ring for those of us that are a bit incompetent?
So for you, an O-ring is on the inside of a hard tube fitting. You have an O-ring on the inside.
Yeah.
That gives you if I don't drop it, that creates a seal when you put the hard tube fitting in, and then the fitting just goes in. You push it down, and then that screws in, and then you've got a second O-ring and a plastic ring inside that pushes the O-ring down, compresses it, and that holds the tube inside the fitting. With a hard tube, you have to bend it, and they don't just flex like a soft tube. So what we do is you get a bending insert, which is just a nice rubber rod, and this goes inside the tube, and this stops the tube from crushing when you do bend it. This is there like a little safety feature, stopping it kinking. Then the way to do it is put the heat gun on a flat surface, because as you know, it can get hot.
So we're going to try and keep rotating the acrylic to get it evenly warmed up.
Yeah, also go back and forth as
Oh,
well.
I see, right.
Because you want to do like a 2-inch area. Once it gets really malleable,
that's really, it's bending.
Yeah, just put it on the tube.
Sorry.
And bend it over.
You got to hold it, yeah?
Yeah, hold it late to.
Yeah, I got it. If I can do it, you definitely can. I mean, I can't build an IKEA desk or drawers.
Once I've got what I think I need, I'll start checking what it's going to look like in the build, then go back and start,
Oh, so if once you've bent it once, you could then rebend it again?
Up to a certain point. You can loosen it off a bit or just go a little bit more, but you can't go back to how it was.
Right, okay, so I couldn't go here and then go, actually, I want to straight and I want to move the bed. Right.
No.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
So yeah, that that's not quite, that's a bit over 90 degrees, but I'm going to take this home, going to put a shelf or something. Yeah.
Your first ever bend.
So I suppose we'd better have a bend off. He loves it. Better have a bending competition, is that better? Who can do the best bends? Who can bend it over the best? Any others? And I should feel when it heats up, right?
Yeah, lift it up a little bit as well so you don't get bubbles on it, because if you bubble the tube, there we go.
looks okay. For context,
Oh, yeah.
I win.
He does indeed win.
This is the way I test them usually. So if I do them, I do it by eye, and then to find out if it's 90 or not, I just put it against the case and straighten it out so it's 90 on the case.
That's about right.
Yeah, not bad at all. What I want to do is have a parallel CPU and GPU block. Turn that round. Which does throw up some issues. Obviously, we need to have 2 tubes coming out of here. One of them I want to go up to this radiator, but I also want to have the reservoir mounted up here somewhere. So it just gets a little bit, it starts getting a little bit tricky getting everything everywhere, because we still need to have 2 tubes coming out right at the bottom.
Fast forward a couple of hours and we've now almost got there. It's actually at the end of the day. Unfortunately, it's time to pack up and go home because we don't want to be working till 3 AM. Look at that face. That is the face of a man that is tired.
I want to go sleep. Once it's done, you should be able to fill it up and that's it. It's quite a simple loop in theory. It comes in from the pump that's hidden under this little basement, I guess, into the GPU and CPU. Because they're in parallel, they'll feed in together. Then they'll come out of the CPU and GPU block, into this radiator, then into the reservoir, back into the pump. And it's a nice big loop.
I really like as well that we had a choice of tubing, didn't we, for clear or frosted, how sort of the frosted actually goes with the whole theme. It matches the RAM and how like the block and the fittings all sort of come together. On the whole, I'm actually so happy with how this whole thing turned out. It is a shame that we did run out of time and Dave had to take this computer back to his own place and finish it off. Everything just looks super clean. I think the white and black theme really add to this, but then once you've got that frosted tubing, once you've got that white fluid, it all just looks very neat and tidy. There's probably more we could do. I did want to paint the outside of the case, and I'm going to use everything I've learned and put it into my own gaming PC, do a full custom loop, make it hardline, and it's going to be epic, or at least I think it's going to be epic. Let's hope so. If you've enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. It really helps out so much. You really wouldn't believe. Get subscribed for more videos just like this and to see the upgrade to my personal rig that's coming in the next couple of days. We'll be water cooling as well. Really exciting stuff. If you do want to check out links to anything featured in this video, you can find them down below with my Amazon affiliate links. A massive thank you to ASUS, AlphaCool, Team Group, Corsair, everyone. I'm sure there's more people that I've forgotten. That has actually made all of this possible. It is so helpful. It really means we can create content like this and it's fantastic. I hope you've enjoyed it. Massive thank you of course as well to James from Geekawatt, all the ASUS team and Dave from AlphaCool. Much appreciated. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.